Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Cindy Novich. I am a health coach. I live in Dover, Massachusetts with my husband and my kids. And I'm super excited that we're here tonight to talk about health and wellness and growing aeroponics with my friend Shondelyn. So just to let you know a little background of why we come together, it's really to share about the power of whole food nutrition. And obviously you get that in plants. But for those of you who don't know, we also can get them in powdered produce with a company that we all love, or I love, called Juice Plus. These products are plant-based protein or powders. They're the phytonutrients, 30 different fruits, veggies, and berries that are in these capsules. And then you can sponsor a child for free. That's what I did with my kids. And we have never looked back in 8 years. We saw some great shifts in our family's health. It's been an amazing journey. And then these are our plant-based omegas. So it's omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. The capsules, the fruit, veggie, and berry also come in chewables. And we have a Healthy Starts for Families program where every child can be sponsored for free. Well, they start at the age of 4 years old up through college. So they can get the fruits and veggies either in a chewable or a capsule for free for 4 years. And then we have a plant-based protein powder that is delicious. Sorry, I use this chocolate one every day. I love it. Usually it's my breakfast, but can be like a pre or post workout. And we also have another one with more protein in it called the Perform. So without further ado, I am going to turn this over to Shondelyn, who is just an amazing gardener, amazing person all the way around, and a dear friend. And she is going to share her talents with the Tower Garden.
Hello, everyone. Pull up my presentation here. I guess I'll have to let me know when you can see it. All this open stuff.
There you go.
Okay. So my name is Shondelyn Anderson. I live in Virginia, and I have been a part of Juice Plus for a little over 2 years now. I had a girlfriend that knew that I loved to garden, and she kept sending me these pictures of her kids putting together these tower gardens, and I had no idea what a tower garden was. So I just thought, oh, that's cute, and I kind of blew her off. But her reach outs to me kept getting more urgent. And then finally she called and she said, Shondelyn, you've got to look at this. And so I said, okay, I will look at it. And then I got really intrigued. And I thought, that's fascinating. I want to see what that's about. So tonight we're going to talk about the Tower Garden. We're going to talk about how it works and what and where you can grow the Tower Garden, different ways that the Tower Garden is being used, and the benefits of growing in the Tower Garden, and then finally the cost. So about the time that I found out about Tower Garden, we had just put in these raised beds in my backyard, and it was a lot of work. We were hauling in dirt and refurbishing everything and putting in the pathways and all. And I got my Tower Garden, and it was delivered the same time that my husband was pulling up in the driveway. So it's not like sneaking in a box of shoes. I had all of these big boxes on the front porch that I was trying to get into the house. And so he walks in and he wants to know what I bought. And I said, oh, just wait, you'll see, you'll see. And so I got it put together, and he says, what is that? And where are you going to put that? And I said, well, I'm going to grow plants in it on the back deck. And he looked at me like I had two heads. And he says, well, what kind of plants? And I said, the same ones that I have growing out in the garden. And he's like, what? And so what I did is I said to him, I said, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison all summer long. I'm going to take some of those same plants that we have planted in the garden, and I'm going to put them in the Tower Garden and see how they do. And that's exactly what I did. And I started documenting it every week. I'd show the progress of what was going on in the tower garden. And it was just truly amazing. The tower garden can be grown vertically. It's an aeroponic growing system. So you've got air and water that causes the tower garden to just flourish. And you can grow produce without the time and the space and commitment of what a traditional garden would be. You can grow a wide variety of organic produce, both inside as well as outside. And I grow inside and outside. So I'm growing all year round. Growing in the tower garden takes up very little space. So all you need is about a 3-foot circumference to grow 30% more, 3 times faster with 98% less water than that of a traditional garden. And this is how the tower garden works.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
So this is what my tower garden looked like on my back deck that first summer. And I just took several pictures, but I was really blown away at how quickly things were growing and how much produce, pounds of produce in a 3-foot vertical space is amazing. And then I started growing inside. So we in Virginia, we have a pretty long growing season. In fact, I grow all the way into January, sometimes even February outside, but that's the cool weather crops. But my lettuces and my herbs, I grow inside all year round. And so I grow everything from tomatoes to peppers to 8 different varieties of lettuce at any given time, kale, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all of that I grow indoors. And I really like it because it's really, really clean. There are 2 types of tower garden models. You've got the tower garden home, which I like to say is like this little sleek, little curvy, sexy little thing. It's got a 13-gallon reservoir at the base, and it has caster wheels built in, so you don't need to get an additional dolly for them to sit in. And it has 32 growing ports. You've got 16 microgreen ports at the top, and then you've got the full-size ports at the bottom. Now, the Tower Garden Flex, I like to say, is flexible. So you can grow either inside or outside with the Tower Garden Flex. And the reason why I like the Tower Garden Flex, I like the Flex. I've got the home behind me, but the Flex is nice because it's got a 20-gallon reservoir at the base, and it's got some substantial weight to it when it's full. So when I have my plants sitting outside, my tower garden sitting outside, I'm not worried about them moving around because they're pretty heavy at the base. The other thing I like about them is when we go away, I don't have to worry about if it's going to run out of water because it holds so much water. I just top it off before we leave. And most times it doesn't need to be refilled. But I like to say it's flexible. You can go inside or out. But I get a lot of questions about the lights. I have people say, oh, I've got this great sunroom and I've got natural light coming in everywhere. Do I really need to buy those lights? And my answer is yes. So when you think about our windows in our house, they have UV filters in them that block the harmful UV rays for us as humans, but it's blocking the things or the rays and the things that the plant needs to thrive. And so it's not enough light. Even if you have a well-lit room, it's never going to be enough light for those plants to grow the way they need to grow. And so when you think about the light kit, I like it. It sits directly on the top, so it's not taking up any more space. It's on a timer, and it's 125 watts of power that it pulls. And so I have some light bulbs in my house that pull more power than that. But I run my lights about 16 hours a day, and it's great because the lights really help to produce lush, compact vegetative plants. And it really makes a big difference. Now, as far as growing in the terrace garden, it is so much easier to install than installing raised beds in the backyard. It's easy to maintain. There's no issues with climate. If we're having bad weather come in, I just kind of move the tower gardens in out of the elements, not inside, but out of. I have a covering on my back deck, so I'll just move it under there. But it grows 3 times faster than the plants do in the soil. And I will say that after the end of that very first summer, when I was comparing the plant growth, the tower garden plants that I had the same planted out in the ground far surpassed what was happening in the ground. There's no dirt, there's no digging, there's no weeding, and it's nice. So if you have fingernails that are always polished and nice, you don't have to worry about getting your fingernails all messed up with a tower garden because you're not doing anything but putting water in the bottom. When you grow in the tower garden, your produce is picked at the peak of ripeness. And so that makes it more nutrient dense, and it truly is tower to table. Now, my tower gardens that I grow inside, I don't even wash the produce. I just pick it off of there and I chop it and I throw it on the plate. It's that clean. You can definitely taste a difference. When you think about, I say that growing in the tower garden is better than organic, because when we go to the grocery store and we buy organic produce, we don't know that it's truly organic in the entire process. Farmers may have grown it organically, then it has to be transported. And if it's transported maybe in a truck that's got a chemically treated tarp that's thrown over the top of it that keeps, to keep it from ripening, but then it's introduced to that chemical element. So it does make a difference. My daughter's vegetarian, and when she came to visit, the very first thing she said was, "Let's have a salad." So I went downstairs and we picked off of the tower garden, and we came upstairs and we had the salad, and the entire time she was, "Oh my gosh, this tastes so good. Oh my gosh, I have to have one of these. I'm going to have one of these." I said, "It's great." I said, "It tastes different because I'm allowing it to ripen right where it's at." And so when you buy lettuce and produce in the store, it's picked long before it's ripe, so that when it gets to the store, it looks presentable for us to buy. So it's not as it doesn't have as many nutrients in it because it's picked long before it's supposed to be picked. And that's one of the other things that I really love about growing on the tower garden. Now, the tower garden is being used in a variety of ways. Schools are using it in their curriculum for their STEM programs. You've got tower garden farms that are popping up. It's kind of the new way of farming. So you don't need acres and acres of land. You just need space big enough to have, multiple tower gardens. Personal use, and then businesses are using it. So restaurants are using them to supply their farm to table menus with produce. So it's really a wide variety of uses, and different places that you're seeing the tower gardens pop up. And I don't know if any of you all have been in Chicago O'Hare Airport, but they actually have a tower garden farm in the middle of the airport. And so you can actually see all of the produce growing on those. And they use that produce that's growing in those tower gardens to supply some of the restaurants in the airport with produce. The benefits of tower garden and children, especially as it provides a means for educating children about health and nutrition. It's been shown that children have an increased academic performance. They form a real connection to nature, and it teaches personal responsibility, and it also boosts confidence and pride. Now, I'll tell you, I'm not a kid, but I have a lot of confidence and pride when I am able to pick off that tower garden and put it on a plate and feed my family. And I have not gone and bought produce that I can grow in the tower garden from the grocery store since I got it. And that we're going on almost 3 years now. I've not bought lettuce. I've not bought tomatoes. I haven't bought peppers. But the things that I grow in the tower garden, I just don't even do it. I don't even bother in the grocery store. And it's a funny story. My husband went to Wendy's a couple weeks ago, and he said that he was asking for a hamburger with lettuce and tomato on it. And they told him, well, we can give you the tomato, but we can't give you the lettuce because it's another recall. And he laughed. He says, oh, it's okay. My wife's got lettuce at home. So gardening, tower garden makes gardening fun. It's a time for families to bond and kids to enjoy learning. And they say that kids eat more of what they grow, and you don't need a green thumb. You don't have to have any gardening experience at all to grow in a tower garden. It's really easy to get it put together and to start growing. Now, this study was done several years ago from a tower garden farm in Atlanta. And what I did is, because the study was so old, I thought I'm going to go to the local grocery store because we had so many price increases over the last couple of years. And I thought I'm going to do an average. So I went to 4 different stores and I averaged out the cost of organic produce. And when you look at this chart, like for instance, I have a Swiss chard plant that is in my tower garden. It's been in my tower garden for over 6 months. And I pull Swiss chard leaves off of it all the time. Some of those leaves are as big as they'll cover my entire face when I hold the leaf up. Now, when you go into the grocery store in the organic section, you pull up a bunch of Swiss chard, you get about 5 stalks, and they're little, they're small leaves on it, and it's about $2.99 per bunch. Now, they estimate that you could get 26 bunches from one plant on the tower garden. And I totally believe it, because I'm telling you, I've gotten so many pounds of produce off of the tower garden. But the tower garden is designed to work. It makes growing fresh and eating fresh affordable and convenient, and it pays for itself in about as little as 6 months. And when you look at the cost of the tower garden home with lights is about $3.07 a day, and then the tower garden flex with the lights is $2.72 a day. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, when I'm out, I get a cup of coffee at Starbucks and it costs more than that. Or if you're, grabbing something to eat, or when you think about what you're getting at the grocery store, I mean, $21.53 is nothing to add to a grocery store, because eventually it's going to start offsetting what you spend in the grocery store versus what you can produce at home. So that's my presentation on the tower garden. And if you all have questions, I'm happy to answer questions for you. And we'll just go from there.
Thank you, Shonda, and that was amazing. I'll stop the recording and then we can take some questions.